Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1712 of our daily content grind. We are going to be answering a Patreon request today, and you'll see by the title, it's going to be a bit of a weird one. So, once upon a time, I did cartoon reviews titled TJTV, and you might have seen a couple years ago, I did an extra episode of one as a favor to a friend of mine. So I know some of you out there are still aware, but yeah, this was my thing back in the day. And one of my fans wants me to cover all of the shows that we talked about on that series, and essentially rank them, I assume, worst to best. The only trick to that is I've covered almost a dozen different shows throughout the entirety of that series. So I am going to modify this a little bit and kind of cut to the chase. We're going to be doing the 5 bad and 5 good format, where I'm going to talk about the 5 worst, and then we're going to switch and alternate between the best and the worst. So you get 5 and 5, my top 5 and bottom 5, essentially. And that way we kind of just like have a few minutes to talk about all of these different shows. And then at the end, we get to find out what the worst and best was. So, with that said, I'm going to throw an honorable mention to said episode that I did 2 years ago, which was Vampires. It's not part of the classic run, so I didn't include it in this list, but it is one of the worst shows I've ever seen in my life. It would definitely be on here if I had done it back in the day. So, we'll move on and we'll get to my official 5th worst show that I reviewed on TJTV, and that goes to Sonic Underground. This show feels like they didn't want to write a Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. It feels like they just wanted to do this show about anthropomorphic animals, having a touring band that also saves the world. And that's pretty much the vibe of the entire series. It goes against the basic principles of Sonic. It goes against his characterizations from any of the other media sources. Sonia and Manic, not the best of characters. It's still just like weird to see like Sonic in a sibling situation when no one ever had that before. And little things, the art direction in this series is notably worse and noticeably lower quality than previous shows, especially Sad AM. Taking the Sad AM Dr. Robotnik and taking Jim Cummings' voice off of him is a horrible decision. Gary Chalk's a great voice actor, but he's not a good fit for that Robotnik design. And most of the songs were grating and irritating. There's a couple of catchy ones in there, but most of them are awful, and they ruin the pacing of the show. This was horrible, especially coming off of what I thought were 2 very respectable and solid Sonic cartoons. Adventures and Sad AM both have their merits. This one does not. This one was not. This one was just awful. Awful. But that's the bad. Let's flip over. We'll move over to one of the good ones, and that would be Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. It should just be a Power Ranger knockoff. It should just be them capitalizing on the craze of tokusatsu in America, and it really was. But it gets set apart for a few reasons. Number 1, far cooler designs. 2, far faster pacing with the fight scenes. And 3, a lot closer to the original source material than Power Rangers, rather than just taking footage and adapting it and just doing whatever like American plot that we had stuck on top of it, which they still kind of did. It generally follows the overall idea of the original series, Gridman, way closer than what Power Rangers did. So there's elements in it that make more sense, and there's a more even flow to it. And also just, I think the design work is way better. The monsters, especially the mecha suits that Servo can form into, way cooler looking, I thought, than a lot of the Megazord designs. No, this series was cool, and there's little aspects of it that are just fantastic. You got Tim Curry as the main villain, obviously, but you also have, You have really nice, you have really solid side characters. You've got good comic relief. Mrs. Starsky, I did not give enough credit for in the original review. She's actually like exceptionally good with comedic timing and delivery. Yeah, this one was good. This one is really good. It's way more than just a standard Power Ranger knockoff. There is a lot to love in this show. Now, if we want to talk about knockoff series, then we can go over to a Ninja Turtle knockoff and back over to the bad. Our number 4 bad is the Toxic Crusaders. This is ill-conceived to begin with. This is another one of those shows that's taking R-rated material and trying to reimagine it for children. And they do it because the 90s were all about gross-out humor and toy aesthetics, especially the early 90s. So that is all brought in by Ninja Turtles, and they're kind of like, because like the cartoon was incredibly popular. The toy line was known for kind of being gross out in its designs. So they thought, okay, we'll do Toxic Crusaders based on the Toxic Avengers movie by Troma, and it didn't work. It didn't work. The animation is not great. The character designs are okay-ish if you're trying to be Ninja Turtles. The big issue here is the writing. The writing is horrible. Its source of humor is not funny. It's extraordinarily repetitive. Like, I think every joke in this show fell flat. And like a lot of it that does, like, stuff that's like, there's jokes in this that are obviously aimed at like the adults in the room, but I don't think it's funny for them either. Like nothing in this show made me laugh when it was trying to be very comedic. It's just not well written. Like I can excuse bad animation. I can excuse some bored voice acting. No, no, this is all down to writing. And the writing was horrendous in this show. Sometimes it's all it takes. Sometimes that's all it takes, is someone who thinks they're extremely clever and funny, and they're the only ones laughing. Now, let's get into one of my favorites. Let's get into one of my good ones. Number 3 on the list of good, we have WMAC Masters. Now, granted, this show is basically made for me, as both someone who was into pro wrestling as a kid and Power Rangers. It's the best of both worlds. Okay, predetermined choreographed martial arts fights, so I'm getting all the stuff I like in Power Rangers, but there is this faux competition thing going on, so I get my wrestling stuff in there too. I mean, I love the sets that they battle on. I love the Battle Dome finals and the rotating platform battle for the championship. It's such a great presentation. And note it was done basically by all the stunt actors around the time, especially from Power Rangers and the Mortal Kombat game, like all kind of coming together and going like, why don't we just do something ourselves? Like, why don't we just make something of our own? And it worked out for a while. I mean, it was a 2-season show, which, in the 90s, you were lucky to get a second season of anything. Usually you were one and done. Sell us a toy line over the summer and get out so we can move on to something else. But no, this one actually had a second run. It had a second season. They tried an ongoing storyline, and I still hate that it left off on a cliffhanger because season 3 got canceled, which always sucks, man. But no, absolutely loved this show. Like the visuals, the choreographed martial arts, the spectacle. There's spectacle to this show. It's wrestling. It's Mortal Kombat. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Moving into the third worst. Okay, I'm counting. I'm counting here. Okay, that was number 4 of the good ones. So I misspoke before. Now we're into number 3. And number 3 of the bad, Laser Tag Academy. Good lord. I've never seen a show with a dumber plot in my life. Okay, so follow me on this one. Our main protagonist is from the far future, where the biggest thing in the world is laser tag. It's essentially what Yu-Gi-Oh is. It's what Duel Monsters is in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe. It is It is like everything. Everything revolves around laser tag. And our main pro tag, who is like the ace of the sport. And already I'm not buying this. It is one of those cartoons that like it is like very loudly and proudly wearing the fact that it is just trying to sell you on a toy, you know, by making like hey, in the future this is going to be the coolest thing in the world. This is going to be the greatest thing ever. How many of you know anyone who has played laser tag in the last 5 years? I don't even mean as like this individual toy, because I know once in a blue moon they bring it back out again. I mean like even like used to go to amusement centers that would have rooms set up for laser tag. And all of that's been gutted. And now all those rooms are like VR. Like they're all headset rooms, right? But the plot is what throws me off here. Aside from the fact that like we have like a terrorist from the future trying to change the past. We're throwing, obviously we're throwing children into it, not just teenagers. But also, our main villain has established that his plan is to go in the past, wipe out the ancestors of, the world's greatest laser tag player, so they can basically take over the world unabated. The problem is they established that our main villain also has family lineage with said main character, meaning if he wipes out their ancestors, he wipes himself out too. So his whole plot revolves around like a time travel paradox where he will basically destroy himself. Not to mention if laser tag would even be influential without its biggest star in the future. And the family that apparently made laser tag popular in the future. It's the dumbest plot I've ever seen in a cartoon. Like, sure, go ahead. Go ahead, try it. Let's see what happens. Let's just watch you break down the entirety of the space-time continuity. No. This show is awful. All right, number 3 on my good tier list is Dino Saucers. Now, on the surface, yes, it feels like it's copying the formula of Transformers, and it kind of is. I mean, you have aliens coming down to Earth, befriending humans. There's a good guy and a bad guy set of aliens, and we can transform. And we're trying to keep our presence on the... Well, I guess that's the biggest difference. Transformers, like Autobots and all that, became celebrities on Earth, whereas the Dino Saucers actually do a good job of maintaining their non-existence, despite many times being seen in public, but they always hand wave it away. So yeah, the plot itself is silly, but the strength of the show is that they embraced the silly. So you would have plots where, well, we're just competing over a game of baseball or a game of football, so you had these weird, silly little plots they've come up with that were very much just after-school cartoon. They could run in any order. There's no really, like, origin episode to worry about. Like, it's really just fun. It's a fun show. They didn't take themselves too seriously, and they allow themselves to just be goofy with their concepts, which led to some really, really entertaining shows. Yeah, I like this one a lot. Aside from just, I really like the character design. I like the concept of, like, dinosaurs that actually survived extinction. Everything else here works for me. I like the show a lot. I mean, this one I miss. This one I thought this one got done dirty. This one I really wish had gone a lot farther. Okay, number 2 on the bad list. Number 2, and we are getting into Chuck Norris Karate Commandos. So, we're going to start off with this. If you've been in this channel long enough, you should probably take a wild guess. I'm not a fan of Chuck Norris. The man is problematic to say the least, or was problematic to say the least. But I'm not gonna like personally knock the guy because he died not too long ago. I will for the sake of this stick to the cartoon itself, which is incredibly bad. There's only 5 episodes in existence. This show literally got canceled after a 1-week run. So it's one of those shows that was designed for like just like a quick little like just it's like a quick little summer show. So they ran 5 episodes as something of an extended pilot. No one cared, so the show got canceled. So basically, it ran its entirety as an after school show, Monday through Friday, which means in less than a week they were canceled. The show itself is incredibly badly written. The first storyline revolves around training dolphins to murder, which is not the best of plans. There is also a plot about flooding Tokyo with a tidal wave, even though they were in Florida for the episode rather than Hawaii, where that would have made sense. Um, you have incredibly weird character designs, like the Super Ninja, who is wearing super bright purple and yellow. Very ninja of you. And then you have Chuck's team, which is full of racist stereotypes. It's rough, to say the least. And it's not helped by the fact that Chuck himself is a horrible voice actor. I don't know what you want to say about him, like his live action stuff, how he is on camera. When he's behind a microphone, he is boring, wooden. It was very low energy. Like for a main character, he just sounded awful. So yeah. And we're just going to throw in the fact it's not very well animated either. So you've got poor animation, poor voice acting, characters designed around stereotypes, very bad, dumb plot writing, very bad looking villains. All around, there's really nothing redeeming in the show. It's just all awful from the first moment to the last moment. Now, number 2 on the good side of things, we can talk about Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates. This show is so underrated, and I hate that it is stuck in like licensing hell, because this show deserves to be seen on a streaming platform, a DVD release, something, anything. This show was really, really good. Number 1, you have a far more accurate depiction of Peter Pan as he was described in the books. It's not the stylized, super clean one that we see in the Disney movie. No, this is exactly how Peter Pan sounds. He's a boy supposedly dressed in autumn leaves, and when you cover him in green, Disney, you immediately throw away any kind of accuracy. But yeah, like, just design work on this show was really, really good. It felt a lot more natural, felt more correct for the storyline. You have, again, Tim Curry, who's going to elevate any show that he is in. He's like a fantastic Captain Hook. Great voice acting, great delivery, perfect casting. And yeah, it's just a really, really solid show. Like, it animates well, the voice acting does well. The plots, they take advantage of the Neverland setting and have so many of these fun fantasy plots. You can revolve them around Captain Hook, or you can come up with whatever magical influence you want that might exist in Neverland. And it's just a dead solid show all the way around. Yeah, nothing really more to say about that. It's just good. That's all I can say. It's just a good show. What was the worst show I ever reviewed on TJTV? It's Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills. You want to talk no redeeming qualities. So, on top of the fact that the show had zero budget whatsoever, the special effects are terrible, the costumes are terrible, the set design is terrible. It's just horrendously bad in every direction. When your main Megazord knockoff stand-in is just a guy in a cheap suit of armor zapping people with a sword like he's got full hearts in Legend of Zelda, you're not going to have a good series. Like, there's no excitement for that moment, right? It is just not. And there's not even any real combat. Like, the actual martial arts combat is extremely slow, very, like, overly rehearsed. Like, you can tell none of them were really sure of what they were doing. Most of the fights come down to, I'm summoning a weapon that I'm not going to use to swing. I'm not going to swing at you. I'm just going to shoot magic at you. And that's the entirety of the battle. You've got a Zordon who is just a literal pile of goo in a giant tub. You've got a villain who looks like he was thrown together with little random bits you bought at Spencer's Gifts, including little bobble balls in his villain lair that are supposed to look like evil science. All around, it's like, it is the most obvious knockoff you could ever ask for. Like, literally in every aspect, it was the cheapest thing they could throw together in order to try capitalize on Power Rangers, and every moment of it was awful. This show was horrible. Oh my god, this show was so bad. I will never forget noticing when I was watching through these episodes for review, I'll never forget noticing the purple one here. The purple one here, there's a scene where like they're in the middle of a battle, and they're actually doing a little bit of martial arts. And the one in purple just kind of turns and walks off set in the background. Like, super casually. It's the most awkward thing, and they left it in. That'll show you just how good the quality in this show was and how much effort they were putting in, which is next to none. And on top of the fact that, like, the teenagers were from Beverly Hills, meaning the plots and things they were going on about in every episode, 100% unrelatable. Okay, what was the best show I ever reviewed for TJTV? Well, if you know the series, if you know my old reviews, this is not a doubt. This is not a question. It was Cyber 6. Cyber 6 is incredibly underrated. It was 10 years ahead of its time. I think this came out at the end of the 2000s. Like, the style, the storytelling in it, the lead female protag, I think all of it would have taken off a lot stronger than it did. No, this was just, it was Batman with a female protag. It was dark. It was not afraid of killing characters. It was not afraid of sad plots. Like, it actually took its audience seriously. It didn't really dumb itself down in order to fit a kid audience. Unless you remember, like, the original, like, comic books where, yeah, they actually did dumb a lot of things down, actually. The comic books are rough. The source material is rough. But as a Saturday morning cartoon, this was a really strong showing. Like, voice acting is great. Animation is very stylized and really, really good. Just fantastic show overall. This does have a modern DVD release. You can actually get this show and watch it, and I'm super happy about that. It is incredibly underrated. Incredible, like a forgotten gem of the late 90s. Yeah, I could sing praises, and I did. The whole review. I sung praises of this. And that is the list. So, obviously, I cannot post TJTV episodes here to YouTube, which is why they're exclusively on my Patreon now. So if you want to see the archives, you want to actually see what I thought of these shows in depth, please consider joining the Patreon. I've uploaded, I believe, about half of the series as it is, and every month we're going to upload 3 more. So those are up there for everyone to go watch and enjoy some of my, like, older days of when I was doing these reviews. But that is going to be it for today. I hope that satisfies the request. I know I modified it a little bit, but I felt like this was going to deliver a little bit more of an engaging video, and it lets me actually talk about these shows a lot more. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.